You know, let's go back to what I'm good at doing, destroying fighters, other fighters, and yeah, putting it on the line.
Those naysayers, those doubters, he'll prove them wrong, because that's what he is. It's all about him. It's about him as a man, as a person, and he is a real true man, and and he'll show his personality and strength. The character will show through. Nothing's been signed, and we haven't seen a offer for us to consider, and that's the truth of the matter. At the end of the day, the most important thing is that we're working towards making this fight happen. And I feel much more comfortable having had the conversation with the relevant person concerned.
All right, welcome to the Lowdown, brought to you by Unibet. I'm Dev Sahni, and today we've got big news, and I've got just the men who are going to tell you the news. Joining me, Hall of Fame boxing promoter Frank Warren and his young heavyweight charge, Daniel Dubois. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me. Frank, I'm going to come to you first. We've got a fight for Daniel. Talk to me.
We have. I've been working very hard with Greg Cohen in the States, who looks after Dinu, who's the WBA Interim Champion, and he's agreed, and we've agreed, that that fight will take place, his defence in that case, in this country, against Daniel. So Daniel's going right into the deep end. You know, 20-2 his ranking, his fight record is, and this is no messing around. He's got a lot of pressure on him, Daniel, after the last fight in certain quarters from certain people who made certain comments. But he's not shied away from this. He's gone straight in, and it's for the interim title. And the WBA have written, and we've seen the letter they wrote to Greg, stating that the winner of him and Dinu will be the mandatory for the WBA Heavyweight Champion. So that's what this is all about. That's what we've worked on hard to do and deliver for Daniel. And you know, I think Daniel can go out there and make a statement, making a real statement to his intentions and where he wants to be in heavyweight boxing.
So that's Daniel Dubois against Bogdan, Dinu. I think it's June 5th. Is that right, Frank?
Yes, it is. That's the date for it.
June 5th. Daniel, I'm going to come straight to you here. I mean, sometimes when fighters come back after a loss, you know, they get brought back slowly and maybe they ease their way in, a couple of 6-rounders. I remember you saying to me, you wanted to just be involved in big fights and get right back in the mix. You didn't want to be babied back. Here you are, WBA interim title shot. You must be happy.
I am. You know, it's just a kickstart I need to get back on the road and put everything behind me and look forward to, you know, a new challenge ahead of me. And that's something to be excited for, and something, you know, all this hard work I'm doing now is all preparation for it, and I can't wait to go.
How important was it for you that the next fight was a big fight, and you weren't just sort of loosening up and going in against guys with no ambition? You're going against a guy who's only lost in high class.
I'm a world-class fighter too, you know. I lost to Joe. Yeah, he had the experience, he had the Olympic pedigree behind him, and he's a battle-hardened warrior. So there's no shame in that. I've come back from that. I'm coming back from that, and now that I've got this ahead of me, it's a new light at the end of the tunnel, isn't it? This is, and the belt as well, cherry on top, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And Frank, you must be happy that you're, you know, a win here, and Daniel's in an incredible position. I mean, it's no different from Dillian Whyte's position with the WBC, or what Joe Joyce is approaching with the WBO. Am I right? Have I understood that right?
You've got it absolutely spot on. Look, you know, for me, this tells you about Daniel Dubois. You know, that's what that's what he wanted. That's what he's asked for, and that says a lot to me. You know, I'm a massive fan, and I've got a lot of belief in him, and this is what he's all about. So, as I say, no pussyfooting around, straight in. And it's what it means. It puts him in a position where he wins his fight, and then he fights for the WBA title, and that's going to be phenomenal. What would it be? You know, his next fight, I think, is his 17th fight. Am I right?
Yeah.
So in the 18th fight, he could be fighting for the WBA title.
And what about fans?
Well, we hope we're going to get some fans in. I don't think we're going to get a full arena, but I think we will get some sort hopefully something there. If they're talking about 20% or whatever it may be, anything to get in there. I mean, Daniel knows better than anybody. As a lot of guys have been fighting. There's sterile atmospheres, there's no crowds there. And although, like, the armchair viewers are getting entertained at home, you do need that bit of atmosphere. And even if we can only get 1,000 or 1,500 people in there, that's something that creates some atmosphere. And I'm sure, we'll make it a much better experience than it's been in the past.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed for that. Daniel, how are you feeling right now within yourself? Obviously, you had to have some time away to regroup to get over the injury as well. What sort of Daniel Dubois am I talking to?
Well, right now, I'm really tired. I've just had a long week of fighting with Dev Sahni, and I'm really shattered, really. But really mentally and everything else like that, I'm ready to go. It's putting all this behind me. As I've said, I'm getting on with the hard work again, and looking forward to finding out, getting back in there and seeing what I'm like and improving on my skills again.
How was the sparring?
Oh, it was great rounds. I sparred him since Monday, Wednesday, and today, and yeah, we just got back actually, and it's been great with Chisora. He's putting in the work, giving each other good rounds, and I'm learning a lot from him. He
was actually one of those that reached out, after what happened against Joe Joyce. He was very supportive online, sent a personal message to you as well. So is there a bit of a friendship developing there with Derek Chisora?
Oh yeah, he's come back loads of times, he's been knocked out, stopped, and he isn't let any of that phase in there. So that he's got the right mentality, right attitude, and if I can pick something up from anyone, and that he's the man, isn't he? He's proven he can always come back, and the greatest part about it is the comeback.
Yeah, absolutely. Frank, I just want to touch on this WBA picture. So the world champion right now, the WBA world champion, is Trevor Bryan. He has actually been linked to a summer showdown, perhaps with Dillian Whyte. There's been a few names mentioned, and maybe Dillian Whyte will get a crack at that title. You might be in a position where Dillian Whyte holds the title that Daniel Dubois might be mandatory for.
Brilliant. Bring it on. What they've said, the WBA have said that whoever their champion has got to defend against the interim champion. So what will be, will be. And I'm sure Daniel won't shy away from that.
Well, Daniel, I saw your interview with the Daily Mail the other day. It was really great interview, by the way. And one of the things you mentioned was how you'd love to get your hands on Dillian Whyte and show him what a quitter you are, was the quote that you used. That doesn't sound too unrealistic now.
No, I'm not. With all these next few moves, I could be in with them boys there. So this something I look forward to and take on. Not shying away from it. I fought Joe. Yeah, I've learned from that. I've had that experience now. He was, ahead of me in that department, but I've had that now. So I think I'm only going to improve and be better, harder than before.
And how much are you relishing trying to prove people wrong? Obviously, there's fans. Fans are always going to have their say. But what was quite surprising at the time was the fighters really getting on your case, Dillian Whyte being one of them. There were plenty of fighters. How much are you relishing trying to prove them wrong?
Well, it's boxing, People are going to say what they wanted. It's their opinion. And in boxing, this is what people say to keep the game interesting and all of that. So I really don't let none of that faze me or get under my skin and such. I'm just, I push on, and I'm looking forward to, getting on with it and taking on the next challenge and, what's next.
Well, it's Bogdan Dinu coming up then. So are you, he's lost to only Jarrell Miller, Kubrat Pulev. He's actually rebuilt. He's on a bit of a run now, building up some momentum. Are you looking to make a statement?
Oh, definitely going to make a statement with this one. Just to clear up everything and set this new, journey up and start it off with a positive, a high and a good win. And, you know, do better than Jarrell and maybe, you know, have a devastating performance and, you know, go back to what I'm good at doing, destroying fighters, other fighters, and yeah, putting it on the line.
Must be music to your ears, that one, Frank.
Can't wait. Want to see him back in. Can't wait. You know, it's interesting times. You know, we're in a, you know, what with the, you know, we've got this happening, which is great for Daniel, great for British boxing. We've got the situation with which I feel a little bit more comfortable having spoken to the principal concerning the fight with AJ and Tyson, which then should get us in a good position to sort out Joe Joyce's fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
So lots of things. That's how things hopefully will now gather some momentum for Joe, because we've sort of been a bit of a hiatus with that, and I want that to now start moving forward so we can get him, you know, his well-deserved shot at the big time.
Yeah, absolutely. Feels like there's you know, there's heavyweights going up different routes, and there's a lot going on. And obviously you've been in meetings with Daniel since the Joe Joyce fight. You're seeing him today. You've seen him a few times. How are you feeling about this rebuilding of Daniel Dubois?
Well, he's looking as handsome as ever, and we're moving forward. And I'm really, really, as I say, I'm delighted. Look, you know what? Things happen for a reason. And I think enough's been spoken about his fight. You know, he had a bad injury. You know, I don't care what anyone says. In retrospect, he was right what he did, and he didn't do like he didn't do like if he'd been a UFC fighter, they would have said he had tapped out, but he didn't. He just couldn't see out of his eyes. So he's back in the swing, and it's all up to him now. He's got a lot of pressure on him. People will think he's got a lot of pressure. I don't know, those naysayers, those doubters, he'll prove them wrong, because that's what he is. It's all about him. It's about him as a man, as a person, and he is a real true man, and and he'll show his personality and strength. The character will show through. No doubt, in my opinion, no doubt about that. Daniel,
you weren't like the easiest guy to match because you were just knocking everyone out. People didn't really want to fight you. Yeah. Do you think it's going to be easier to get people in the ring now?
I hope so. I hope they're man enough and brave enough to come forward and have a go. And that's, you know, building up myself and improving, and more ring experience for me, the better I'll be as a fighter. So they can bring it on. I want to test myself and get to the world title. That's what I'm headed for. And whatever way I've got to go, I've got to do it.
I don't even have to tell him. You know, he's got tremendous self-belief in his talent, and that's all that he needs to have. Just keep learning, moving his head, using that jab. We know he's got the power. We've seen that jab, moving his head, and he'll go from strength to strength. And and look, it's there now. The fight's done.
Yeah,
we're all going to see it tonight. And I know he more than anyone wants to be in there, showing the world what he's got.
So what's going to happen June 5th then, Daniel, when you're back? The return of Daniel Dubois against Bogdan Dinu. Big Dan versus Bogdan. What's going to happen in there?
It's going to be a good fight, You tune in, it's going to be a great, good for the comeback, and, it's the start of the new beginning, This is going to be the next part of my journey, and I'm looking forward to it.
Good.
We can't wait. Can't wait. Daniel, I know you're tired. I know you've been sparring Chisora all week.
Forgive me. I'm knackered.
You go lay down. I know you're getting on a bit. You're getting old. You don't worry. Don't worry about us old ones. We're going to work.
Yeah, appreciate that. Good stuff, Frank.
Cheers, Daniel.
See you, Dad.
Take care, mate. All right, well, Frank, I've got to get an update from you. I'm hearing all sorts of things all the time. It all sounds very positive on Fury Joshua. Where are we from your perspective?
Well, look, obviously we signed up a while ago, all the parties concerned representing the various fighters, with a mind to getting this fight on. And in fact, I had a conversation not 20 minutes ago with one of the territories who are involved in this, and they are very confident we're going to get their final offer within the next day or so. So I've heard that from the gentleman himself. So I'm not relying on third parties to tell us what's going on. So, he's a very honourable man, and I expect us to be making a decision, hopefully over this weekend.
The news that came out yesterday around the Williams Andrade press conference was that actually the site had been agreed and that we were there now. So are we not?
Nothing's been signed, and we haven't seen a offer for us to consider. And that's the truth of the matter. That's what it is. I get a bit pissed off there. Everyone keeps saying about I'm being negative. I'm not being negative. I'm answering questions as I'm being asked. And to check with what's going on, I actually picked my phone up myself to make that inquiry. And now I'm quite satisfied that we will be getting something. And once we got it, then all the parties concerned have got to review it, and hopefully we'll give it a thumbs up and get on with it. We want the fight. That's what we signed up for. My concerns were, when I was being asked about will it go on in August, look, it could go on in July, August. I'll be delighted if it goes on in July, August. Absolutely delighted. That's what we're working towards. And common sense tells you it's the biggest fight out there. And common sense says if it's the biggest fight, even from our perspective, Queensberry, we will earn more money. So, of course, we want that. The thing in the back of my mind was how they were going to get over the situation with the conflict that Robert McCracken has in training the Olympic team and training, obviously, the trainer of AJ, and how that was going to be, which is a legitimate concern of mine. But obviously that's their problem, and if it's all we get this offer, they've got to have to sort that out between them. That's it's a concern of mine, but it's a problem of theirs that they've got to resolve. They've got to sort out. Maybe they've got the answer to it, who knows? But at the end of the day, the most important thing is that we're working towards making this fight happen. And I feel much more comfortable having had the conversation with the relevant person concerned. Now, I feel much better about it.
Yeah, there seems to be this feeling that Frank's just being negative. Was it not you that was banging the drum for this fight 2018 when the whole comeback started?
You could say that. You could say that. Look, I want the fight. I want the fight for Tyson Fury. Why do I want the fight for Tyson Fury? One of the things I mentioned just now was money, but more importantly, because I believe he wins the fight. I really do want that fight. Like I wanted to make the fight for Wilder. Like when we made the very first fight for Wilder, I was one of only two people who wanted to make that fight, including his trainer who weren't too sure about making the fight. But I fancied it big time. I certainly fancy his chances against AJ. Having said that, what's happened, because there are so many different forces and dynamics involved in getting this over the line. I felt that this offer that we're supposed to get in every day, because we had designated roles to play in this offer being every day, it just, where is it? Let's see it. Let's see the offer. Let's see if it's real. Every weekend we were getting it. But now, as I say, I feel more comfortable because I spoke to the person direct, and that's satisfies my reservations about that. And we also, by the way, we're not been sitting on our backside. We've been working ourselves on finding a way to make this fight happen. And if hopefully we get the offer through, but in the meantime, we're still looking at other options just in case, and working hard on them.
All right. Well, away from that, Frank, Liam Williams, this is his chance. He can become the WBO World Middleweight Champion this Saturday night. Can he do it?
Yeah, he can. He's got the tools, he's got the desire, he's got the will, he's got the punch power, he's got the boxing brain to do it. And Saturday is going to be a big moment for him, a big, big moment. And he's bringing everything into that fight, all the experience he's had over the years. He's had a couple of disappointments, but he's been so much on the money since he's moved up to middleweight. He's built tremendous rapport with Dominic Ingle. They're a real good team. And I think we're going to get the best of him. And, we've got him into the position. He's worked his way, by making the matches we made, got himself in that manager position. It's up to him now to go and deliver the goods. And he's capable of doing it. He's a tremendous fighter.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic if he can get that belt, and maybe he's getting Andrade at the right time. Andrade, 33, hasn't boxed for a little while, hasn't looked amazing at middleweight. Maybe it's the right time.
I hope so. I hope so. All those things you say are true. You know, one thing's for sure. It won't be for the want of trying. That's for sure. You know, with Liam. I mean, he gives all he's got, and I'm really looking forward to Saturday night. Really looking forward to the fight. Just a shame I can't be there. I can't travel. I'd love to have been there.
So if he gets this belt, Liam Williams, if he becomes WBO World Middleweight Champion, what next? I mean, you've got Denzel Bentley v Felix Cash coming up.
Well, we have. I mean, it's again us against Matchroom. That's another good fight we've got coming up. It's a cracker, as you know. We won the purse bid for it, and I'm looking forward to seeing Denzel in there in a tough fight against Felix Cash. There's a lot of history between the two of them over the years, which I think I mentioned before. I found out after I'd won the purse bid. But that adds spice to it, and I'm sure these two guys are going to give a great fight to the fans. And again, we're all looking forward to it. And on that same card, by the way, we've got Cam Johnson having his debut fight since he's come back with us, and also Anthony Yard back in the house. So it's a good card, cracking card, good fighters on there, and looking forward to it. And if we get that on Saturday, he comes through. I want Liam to be there and hope. And who knows? We might be able to look in the woodwork somewhere. Maybe find Eubanks and see if he fancies fighting.
Well, he has been talking it up. He has been saying, you know, if he becomes
he talks
a champion,
a lot. He talks a lot. But you see, these pens are for signing agreements for fights. So if you don't have to talk about it, come and do it. There'll be good money there for him. And I hate tempting fate, but if Liam comes through, that's a great fight for Liam.
Yeah, that's an absolutely monster fight. Also on Saturday, the 24th, obviously you got Anthony Yard, you got Callum Johnson. In the studio, you got Lyndon Arthur. What are you trying to do to us here, Frank?
Well, Lyndon's coming back. I spoke with Pat Barrett yesterday, and Pat, you know, hopefully he's going to be on the show in June, and he'll have he's been actually at that hand injury. He'll have a fight, and then if Anthony Yard comes through and Lyndon come through, they will then have their rematch in late summer, autumn. How
important is it to get these light heavyweights that we've got, get them around each other, get them boxing on the same shows, get them doing punditry?
It's important for boxing. I keep saying for the fans, it is important for the fans. See, let's see who's the best. And it's not the end of the world for the losers. You know, there's good fights to be made out there. But I'd like to see out three guys who's the best. We've all got our opinions. Let's see.
Absolutely. So Lyndon Arthur, we're thinking he's going to be back on the Daniel Dubois show June 5th.
I hope so, yeah.
Is he pushing up towards the WBO? He's got a good ranking there as well. Is he pushing up towards getting Joe Smith?
Well, he was offered the final eliminator to fight for the title, but unfortunately, because of his hand injury, he couldn't participate. But he's got a good rating, get a quick win, and then do the fight with. Hopefully, they both come through. I think the winner of that will be a mandatory. Yeah,
absolutely. And what about Joe Joyce? Where are we with the whole Joyce Usyk thing? I guess we don't know because of the Fury Joshua thing.
That's it. Once that's done, then that will just absolutely fall into place. We'll either do a deal very quickly or we'll go to pursuits.
So are talks sort of ongoing on that, or have they just kind of paused as everyone just waits?
It's all paused because we're waiting to see what happens with Tyson and AJ. If that fight were to happen, then obviously Usyk would slip back into position of being the mandatory to fight Joshua.
And with regards to Joyce himself, are you looking at, if the Usyk fight doesn't come off for whatever reason, there must be other opponents on your mind as well? There must be.
Yeah, we are. We've got a plan B, but we're looking at. I don't want to get into that yet. I'm optimistic now. As I said, having that conversation, that gives me a bit of comfort for Tyson and AJ's fight, which will then obviously allow us to get on with the Usyk fight too.
Just on Joe Joyce again. I mean, how good is he? The way he performed against Daniel Dubois.
Very good. Look, he boxed. How good is he? He's a silver medalist from the Olympic Games who got robbed. Should have been the gold medalist. How good is he? He's won every fight he's had, and he boxed extremely well against Daniel Dubois in a fight that I thought was a very exciting fight. There threw a lot of punches between the two of them. It was very competitive, and he was the victor. You know, his jab was superb. He inflicted a lot of damage on Daniel, and showed a lot of experience. He's in an excellent place. He's a good quad fighter. And stepping back and looking at it, I was pleased how, the condition he was in the fight. He got himself into real good condition.
Yeah, he came back against Michael Wallish and looked a tad heavy. He was still classic juggernaut, but looked a tad heavy. And then
he'd done what he had to do, and he was a bit more than a tad heavy, but he looks a better fighter, not carrying the weight.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's going to be exciting to see whatever happens next with Joe Joyce. There's no doubt he can cause everyone a problem.
Exciting times.
All right, Frank, anything you want to add before I let you go?
No, I think that's about it, son. I think that's about it. Anything you want to
add? No, just thanks for the constant salary, which I enjoy. So yeah, thanks for that.
I'll tell you something, mate. I mean, what the shame is going to be when you actually take those liras that I've been giving you, which it must be about 50 years old now. You may have problems changing them up, but don't worry. I'll tell you when it's ready to change them.
Thanks, Frank. Appreciate your company as ever, and I'll speak to you soon.